So the Baltimore Ravens get a 23-16 victory over the Cleveland Browns, and it was a hard-fought game. It was a very on-brand AFC North divisional rivalry type of matchup. The Ravens did not have it easy in this one. So what I want to know from you guys is how much faith, again, scale of 1 to 10, how much faith do you have in this Ravens team after they barely pull out a victory in Cleveland on Sunday? That and so much more on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Yes. Welcome back to yet another episode of Quiet Storm. Host Sudden Death, I appreciate each and every one of you guys coming through and tuning into this episode, this post-game reaction, this instant reaction to the Ravens' 23-16 win over the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. This one was hard fought. This one was it was an ugly game, as expected, right? AFC North divisional rivalry. You can never expect these games to be just like a clean break, right? The Ravens had lost their last 4 of 5 in Cleveland. So for them to get a victory today, not only does it get them to 500, the Ravens are now 5-5, which is, based off of how the season started at 1. Ravens are 5-5. It was a hard-fought victory. I'm here to talk about it. But before I do, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. I'm kind of like at a loss for a lot of my words in this one because I'm still dumbfounded at how this offense cannot score points. That is the one thing that is escaping me right now. This offense cannot put up points. It does not matter if we're set up in the red zone. It does not matter if we force turnovers and we're in the red zone. It doesn't matter. We just can't score. Right? Rushing touchdown at the end of the game. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But if I'm being honest with you, that was gimmicky. Those aren't the type of plays that are going to work consistently. Honestly, it felt like we pulled out the stops on a play like that to Mark Andrews. It feels like that was a play call that we should have been saving for the playoffs. I mean, because it's one of those plays that very well could work, very well could not work. And we'd all be killing Todd Monken right here and now if that play didn't work. I know I said I'm going to get into it later, but I just kind of, it triggered me for a second. I mean, there's a couple things. There's a couple of reasons why the Ravens are not getting in the end zone. They're not scoring 6 and they're getting 3. This was another busy day, another very busy day for Tyler Loop. I'm going to get into the stats in a second here, guys. I'm going to get into the stats in a second. Over 50 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for joining this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Again, I am your host, Sutton Def. Make sure you give me a follow on X if you are listening on X. If you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video as well. We'd appreciate that. Let me see. What are you guys saying in the chat here? Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Chat's moving today. Don't forget to join the Rain Gang, like and subscribe. Execution is terrible, says ISO. Yeah, man. It's bad right now. Let me go through some of the stats, guys. It's still early enough in the show. I'll go through some of these and we'll just kind of break it down contextually as we go. So the Ravens win 23-16 over the Browns at home. I'll talk about kind of like the story of the game in a second too. But let me go through the stats. Lamar Jackson finished this game 14 for 25 passing, 193 yards through the air, no passing touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, and was sacked 5 times. Had 4 carries for 10 yards as well. Okay. Really quick, guys. The interceptions. This game where Lamar Jackson threw 2 interceptions and no passing touchdowns. I want to first start off by saying the 2 interceptions, largely not his fault, especially not the first one. The first one was a pick six where Keaton Mitchell went out to catch it out of the flat. It looked like maybe it was like a screen or something like that. Lamar put it on him. Keaton Mitchell could not come down with it. It was right there in his hands. It just popped out of his hands and went straight up into the air. Fell down into, I believe it was Carson Schweschinger. No, that was Devin Bush. Carson was the next one. Carson was the second pick, but Devin Bush caught the pick six. That was not on Lamar, right? And that makes, honestly, I think the first interception that Lamar threw this season, I want to say that one was a tipped ball as well. I may be wrong. Demetrius, appreciate the sub. I could be wrong though. But I want to say that first interception that Lamar Jackson had this season against the Chiefs, I want to say that was a tipped ball as well. Let me know in the chat, guys. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that one to Keaton Mitchell, it got tipped. Devin Bush ended up getting the pick six. The second one, Lamar Jackson, he threw it kind of like on a rope, on a laser, like Lamar tends to do. You could have got a little bit more arc on that ball, but it ends up bouncing off of, I think, the helmet of one of the players, and it ends up in the hands of Carson Schweschinger, which was, I mean, great hustle play from Carson on that one. But my point is, these were not bad turnovers by Lamar Jackson by any stretch. And I'll be the first to admit, when Lamar throws a bad pick, I'll tell you. But those two today, I mean, weren't really on him. They really weren't. But let's continue going through the stats here, guys. Derrick Henry had a good game today. 18 carries for 103 yards on the ground, 5.7 per carry. He had a long of 59 yards, which really kind of broke the game open in the second half. That big 59-yard run by by Derrick Henry. Although we only ended up getting a field goal off of it, it did feel like that was kind of the turning point in the game where the Ravens were kind of taking control, because I believe that was when the Ravens went to tie it. You know, at that point, I had no anxieties about the Ravens losing this game potentially. Like, when that happened, it felt like we were on our way to a victory. May not be a very convincing 2-possession, 3-possession win, but it did feel like after Derrick Henry had that big run, even though the drive ended in a field goal again, it did feel like we were going to win after that. It did. But overall, good game for Derrick Henry. Mark Andrews, of course, had the 1 carry for 35 yards on a 35-yard touchdown. That was a big play. Keaton Mitchell had 6 carries for 31 yards in this one, 5.2 yards a carry. We do have a super chat donation in the house. Hold the phones. We got a super chat donation in the house. Who is this from? Making it rain here. Donovan Carter and Design. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you coming through. Let me see. Donovan says Harbaugh has a Swiss cheese fetish. That's the only explanation I can give as to why no changes have been made to that awful unit. Simply Orwellian. You know, I'm going to get to the offensive line. I'm going to get to the O-line because, you know, and I'll say this, guys, really quick. I can't give my full 100% assessment on how the O-line performed just yet because I have to go back and watch the all-22 footage, right? I don't like to judge the O-line off of, you know, just the plays, just the negative plays or the super positive plays. I like to go back and watch it pound for pound. So I will go back and I'll check that out. And this week, guys, I have a lot more time than I did last week. Had family in town last week. Had spent time with family. You guys know how that goes. But this week, I'm back, and I will be putting out more videos. So do expect some breakdowns of what happened, exactly what happened in this game against the Browns, even though it was a win. Thank you for the super chat donation, Donovan. I appreciate you truly for making it rain here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Going through the rest of these stats here. Keaton Mitchell, again, 6 carries for 31 yards, 5 a carry. He had the fumble, right? And well, not the fumble. He had the drop that turned into a pick six. That was really what I hated the most from Keaton Mitchell in this one. Other than that, I thought he did a decent job running the football. I don't think that this is any grounds to put him in the doghouse. John Harbaugh, I'm talking to you. There's no need to put Keaton Mitchell in the doghouse because of what happened today. I don't think so. Keep him out there. Lamar Jackson carried the ball 4 times today for only 10 yards, only averaging 2.5 a carry. I'm sorry, guys, but listen. The day I truly do stand on this and believe this. The days of Lamar Jackson winning games with his legs are over. I really do believe that, because right now, I don't know if it's the lingering injuries, if it's the lingering knee or the hamstring or what it is, but Lamar Jackson does not look the same running the football as he normally does. That might ruffle some of you guys' feathers and say, oh, he still looks good running. He still looks. No, he doesn't. He looks good in the way that like a Patrick Mahomes looks, right? Like Patrick Mahomes can run the football, right? He can carry the ball. But he doesn't really have any explosiveness to him, Patrick Mahomes. Now we're kind of seeing that same, not style of play, but like that same performance running the football out of Lamar Jackson. He's not running the same. He's not running with the same explosiveness that we're used to seeing. He's just not. It's not as electric. He's just not. I mean, he's getting ran down by linebackers, linemen, edge rushers. I mean, he used to pull away from these guys effortlessly. He used to get these guys in the open field and literally just embarrass them. He's not doing that anymore. He's not. So, I mean, again, feel how you feel about it, but that's not really a big threat anymore. And now, of course, every team who plays the Ravens are still going to look at Lamar Jackson as a threat. But I'm wondering here and now, like, at what point does it become a place in the time where teams aren't fearing Lamar Jackson's rushing ability? Let me know if I'm overreacting in the comments. Let me know. ISO says he disagrees. He doesn't think that he lost his speed overnight. He's still hurt. Maybe that's what it is. Honestly, I hope, as crazy as it sounds, I hope that's what it is, over him just kind of aging out of being able to run by guys. Because that's kind of like, if there's anything that's going to get the Ravens over the quote unquote hump and win a Super Bowl, it's going to be Lamar Jackson at some point running the football and breaking the back of a defense by doing so. If he can't do that down the stretch of this season and into the playoffs, and we solely have to rely on, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson throwing, I mean, you're looking at a divisional round exit. That's like, I think that's the best that the Ravens would probably be able to do at that point. I'll keep going through the stats, guys. Again, good win. Ravens are now 500. I would much rather be coming out of this game with a win than a loss, obviously, but there's still a lot of reasons for concern right now, especially offensively. I mean, you got the Jets next week. If you don't go out and put 30 up against the Jets, especially without Sauce and Quinnen Williams, legit concern. I think the concern is legitimate right now. But especially if you do not go out next week and thrash the New York Jets offensively, hey man, curb your expectations. You guys know what I like to say. Receiving yards or receiving stats in this one. Zay Flowers finished the game with 3 catches for 78 yards. Had a long of 45 yards. Zay Flowers still allergic to the end zone. Can't score. I don't know. I really don't know if he's going to be able to justify getting paid. Excuse me, getting paid the large sum of money that he's going to request this upcoming offseason. I don't know. But again, 3 for 78, no touchdowns. Mark Andrews had 3 catches for 32 yards in this one. Keaton Mitchell, 2 catches for 23. Derrick Henry, 2 catches for 19 yards. Isaiah Likely, 2 catches for 15 yards. Isaiah Likely has been non-existent in this Ravens offense. I mean, with the way that this season has gone, when you look at a Mark Andrews and you look at an Isaiah Likely, what do the Ravens do? Like, what is their course of action when it comes to the tight end room this offseason? The general consensus has been, we're probably going to go ahead and get rid of Mark Andrews and move on to, Isaiah Likely and have that era be kind of the new thing, right? And TY says Likely is coming off an injury. Fair. But, I mean, he just hasn't produced. Had a drop today. Could have been a little bit of a better ball by Lamar, but nonetheless had a drop. Hit him in his hands. Like, I can't really justify any decision. I can't justify just blindly just letting Mark Andrews walk. I can't justify promoting Isaiah Likely to tight end 1. I don't know how to feel about the tight end room right now. It's tough. It's tough. Rasheen Ali had 1 catch for 15 yards. He had a clutch 3rd down conversion on the Ravens' very first drive of the game. That was good to see. D-Hop had 1 catch in this game for 11 yards. D-Hop is always going to show up on one play. You can pretty much expect every Ravens game he's going to have 1 catch where it's kind of significant, and that's it. Kick returning in this one, Keaton Mitchell, 2 kick returns for 58 yards. Rasheen Ali, 1 kick return for 25 yards. LaJohntay Wester, 1 kick return for 32 yards. Had a fumble as well. And let me just get into the, by the way, real quick, Nate Wiggins had a pick in this game on Shadur Sanders. I'm going to get into the whole Shadur Sanders thing in a second. But let me get into the kind of like the game script for this game. Let me get into the game script. This was a game where the Baltimore Ravens really kind of, they were begging the Browns to win it. The amount of possessions that they just flat out gave the Browns. As a matter of fact, let me look up the time of possession stats. The amount of possessions that they just kind of gave up to the Browns was so annoying, especially in the first half. And the Ravens ended up winning time of possession 32 minutes and 59 seconds to 27 minutes and 1 second for the Browns. But in the first half, it was pretty much even. But it felt like it should have been way more in favor, time of possession wise, for the Ravens. But they were just giving up possessions. There was the LaJohntay Wester fumble. There was the penalty on the Browns punt, which gave them the ball back. Gave them a new set of downs. There was of course, the 2 interceptions. The Browns had so many opportunities. On top of 5 sacks, 4 alone from Myles Garrett. They had so many opportunities to win this game. If they even had a slightly competent offense, if their offense was even slightly competent, they could have won this game. They could have beat the Ravens today. So, and again, that's why I say, like, I'm not holding my head super high after a win like this. And I know the Ravens have the Jets coming up next. It should be another W. But I'm looking for this team to start peaking. I'm looking for them to stop making these stupid mistakes in spots where they just shouldn't. They should be stepping on the necks of a Cleveland Brown team. Instead, they let them hang around and hang around and hang around all the way to the last possession. That first half was abysmal. It was bad, man. It was bad. You know, Dwayne says this team is terrible, period. Browns gave us trouble earlier this season, too. They do. They always give us trouble. They always give us trouble. And again, I want to sit up here and I want to say that I'm grateful that the Ravens walked out of there with a W today. Thank God. The season still is alive for the Ravens. But to me, it's still on life support. With the way that the offense is looking right now, what is going to happen when you go up against the Steelers, who you know are going to play you just as tough as the Cleveland Browns, if not tougher? What's going to happen when you play up against the New England Patriots, who lead the AFC right now? What's going to happen when you go up against these teams who aren't going to make the same mistakes as the Cleveland Browns? Offense has to step up, man. Offense has to step up, and it starts with that offensive line. I said I was going to talk about the O-line. Here we are. That offensive line, man, and I got to go back and watch the All-22. But based off of what I saw, especially for the umpteenth week in the red zone, this offensive line is absolute dog shit. They can't get any push up front. I mean, we're on the 1 yard line, for crying out loud. And we can't push for 1 yard. If you think that a team that has an offensive line that gets bullied like that up front, and I know how good the Browns front seven is. I know that. Malik Collins ended up playing. I know how good they are up front. But if you have an offensive line who cannot get any push when they're on the 1 yard line to get Derrick Henry, of all running backs, into the end zone, you have a problem on your hands. And you have a team that probably won't make it very far into January, if they even make it there at all. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, guys. I know I sound like doom and gloom right now. I know I sound like we're 4-6 instead of 5-5. But you guys should understand, as true Ravens fans that I know you guys are watching right now. 80 people watching live, by the way. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you like the video on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel as well. That helps us out a lot here on our channel. But I know you guys who are listening right now, who are Ravens fans, are real ball knowers. And more importantly, you're Ravens ball knowers. And I know that performance today did not satisfy you. Didn't satisfy me. That offensive line, we can't score points off of it. We just can't. Lamar Jackson is under duress too much. Again, he got sacked 5 times today. Myles Garrett had 4 sacks. Let me say this. Nnamdi Madubuike still leads the Baltimore Ravens in sacks on the season. Now, he's tied with a couple of guys. Tavius Robinson. He's tied with Kyle Van Noy now. But Nnamdi Madubuike, who has not played football in 2 months, is still tied for the lead in sacks for the Ravens. Do with that what you will. Do with that what you will. This Ravens team cannot get pressure. It's very, very tough for them to do so without Kyle Hamilton rushing, a safety rushing. Very, very tough. However, the Ravens were able to get home later in the game. Shedeur Sanders came into this game in the second half. Asmodeus, appreciate the sub, brother. Appreciate the sub, Asmodeus. Me and Asmodeus were taking a couple of shots earlier on the on stream. Appreciate the sub, brother. Or appreciate the membership. Appreciate the membership. But Yeah, man. This was a tough one as a Ravens fan. It was a very, very tough game to watch. Albeit the Ravens win, it just did not feel like a convincing victory. And like I said, the Ravens lost their last 4 or 5 in Cleveland. So for them to walk out of there with a W today was encouraging. But when Shedeur Sanders came into the game, I was very, very surprised because I didn't know that Dylan Gabriel had, went into concussion protocol. Somebody in the chat had told me that in real time during halftime or right after halftime. And, when Shedeur came in, I was thinking to myself, like, on one hand, I want Shedeur to do well. I want him to play well. But this game is a little bit too close for comfort right now. I was predicting that Shedeur would get in this game due to Dylan Gabriel being so bad and the Browns being down by so much that the Browns just say, you know what, fuck it, let's throw in Shedeur. But Shedeur came in out of necessity, dire necessity, because Dylan Gabriel was hurt. And in this one, Shedeur Sanders, let me run through his stats really quick. Didn't really do much of anything at all. Ravens defense just kind of shut him down. Shedeur Sanders finished the game 4 for 16 passing, only 47 yards in passing yards. And then he had 1 interception as well and got sacked twice. He ran the ball 3 times for 16 yards. Shedeur, he is... It's tough, right? Because in this one, again, you guys heard the stat line, 4 for 16. I don't think that the Browns are, especially if Dylan Gabriel is able to come out of this concussion protocol and he's able to go next Sunday. At least I think they play next Sunday. I'm not sure I'm not sure what their schedule is, but if he's able to go next week, I don't think that Shedeur did enough today to justify them saying, okay, maybe we'll slide up Shedeur to being the starter. So unfortunate for him. He had his chance today. Didn't really make much of anything happen. But other than that, Dylan Gabriel was, before he went down, 7 for 10, 68 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, had 1 sack he took on the day. Kyle Van Noy had got to him early in the game. Shout out to Kyle Van Noy. Quinshon Judkins in this game had 17 carries for 59 yards, 3.5 a carry. He was gashing the Ravens in the first half. That first half was very, very spooky because Quinshon Judkins seemed like he was getting, and mainly the first quarter, he was getting whatever he wanted on the ground. Dylan Sampson had 1 carry for 19 yards. I think that was in the first quarter as well. Receiving in this one, Cedric Tillman had 3 catches for 52 yards. Harold Fannin had 2 catches for 26 yards. Jerry Jeudy, 3 catches for 21. David Njoku, 1 catch for 7 yards. And then Corley, 2 catches for 9 yards. The Ravens defense really stepped up in the second half. That's really what this game came down to. It was a tale of 2 halves. Like, the defense in the first half, they played okay, right? It was really more so like the turnovers that the Ravens were just kind of just giving the Browns possessions in the first half. That's why the Browns were able to, be so successful then. But then once those turnovers slowed down for the Browns in the second half, the Ravens defense really stepped up against Shedeur Sanders and company, and they kind of just didn't let them do anything. They didn't really let them do anything. I don't think they scored anything in the second half, as a matter of fact, right? Let's see. Yeah, Browns did not score in the second half at all. So defense just kind of they picked up, and the offense stopped turning it over. And what do you know? The Ravens won. But again, guys, that's why a win like this is so frustrating. And I know I probably sound like a spoiled Ravens fan. It's just because, like, if the offense is not going to start to put things together and start to score multiple touchdowns per game, how far can we really expect this team to go? Because again, against teams like the Steelers and the Packers and the Patriots that you do have coming up, if you're the Ravens, like, those teams aren't going to make as many mistakes as the Browns made today. And honestly, it's not even the fact that they're not going to make as many mistakes. They're going to capitalize. Those better teams are going to capitalize on the mistakes of the Ravens if the Ravens continue to make these same bonehead mistakes. That's what it comes down to. Had Shedeur not missed a couple throws, this will be a whole nother podcast. You damn right about that. You damn right about that. Man, it's good win overall, again, by this Ravens team. Good win. But you have to be better going forward. You got to be better going forward. Some more things I took from this game. Let me see. Go through my notes here. Yeah. Tyler Loop had a good game again. Another good game for him. No misses today for Mr. Loop. Made him when we needed him to. That was good to see. Yeah. I think that was about it that I had for this game so far in terms of my instant reaction. Again, guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. This is the Purple Rain Podcast. You're listening to Quiet Storm Sports. We will be live tomorrow doing our full review, our full recap of this game. So make sure you stay tuned for that. The Ravens are still a game behind in the division right now. The Steelers won against the Cincinnati Bengals today. And, of course, the Ravens got a W2 against the Browns. But it's really coming down to these Steelers matchups now. That's what it's coming down to, guys. You got to win against the Steelers. Got to win against the Steelers. And I don't know if the Ravens will be able to do that. Truthfully speaking, I don't know if the Ravens will be able to consistently run the ball against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, the Steelers' passing defense is ass, but the Ravens have not proven that they're efficient in the air right now. If you don't start putting up points, if you don't start putting up 6 instead of 3, you're going to start to lose some of these close games. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Again, appreciate you guys for coming through to this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Again, this was my instant reaction to the Ravens 23-16 win over the Cleveland Browns. The Ravens improved to 500 on the season, 5-5. I think I have a couple of promises to fulfill for some podcasts that I have to go back on because I said that I would reappear on when we got to 500. I think Charm City Sideline, maybe one other as well. I can't remember, but I will be around in these YouTube streets in the next couple of days, so make sure you check out for me here at the Quiet Storm Sports, part of the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Subscribe, like the video. If you're following me on X, shout out to you. If you're not following me on X, go ahead and hit that follow button because we do go live here multiple times a week. But with that being said, stay positive, test negative out there always, and never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. Been another episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.